Hey there, welcome to week 30 of Jackie on Keto. This week, a member of my Facebook group, one of her family members, had a heart bypass. Well, actually, it was about 10 days ago. Heart bypass operation. And we were talking, and she said she's getting lots of conflicting nutritional advice. And the doctors and nutritionists are telling her one thing, and what she's finding out is another. So I've been doing some research on what cardiologists are saying about keto and low carb, and I've been posting it in the Facebook group. So if you want to see that, then head on over to Jackie on Keto on Facebook and ask to join the group if you're interested in doing keto, dieting, finding out more about it. And I told my friend that the advice that the doctors have given, now bear in mind that they will only get around about 20 hours of nutritional advice in the whole 4 years that they're at medical school. That advice is really old advice, and things have moved on. Even the nutritionists are having to talk about the way the government guidelines are, the NICE guidelines are, but things have moved on. And we've been brainwashed to believe those old thoughts over the years and years. And all of us, even myself included, to start with, struggle with saturated fat is not good for you. Not that I ever took notice of that, because I've always eaten saturated fat and I never moved on to margarine or skimmed milk or low fat anything. So, but it was still in there, that thought of saturated fat is bad, high fat is bad, you must have low fat everything, 5 to 7 portions of your fruit and veg a day, fruit is good for you, loads and loads of things that we believe, that we've been told over and over again, and we do believe them because they're so ingrained in us. And it's a really, I get that it's a really hard habit to change, but the only way you're going to change is by doing some investigating. And also, many of those studies that they did in the 50s and 60s, which are the foundation of our food plate or pyramid, whichever you want to call it, that we're being advised by the government and doctors and nutritionists, many of those studies have been debunked and shown to be not quite true, or they've taken a small section of it and projected that forward, not necessarily the whole truth. And things have moved on in these last 50 years. We've gone so much further. And I do get that the biggest thing that we have is we believe it because we've been taught it. And it's hard to know who's right and who's wrong. Who knows? But I think you have to look inside and say, what makes sense to you? What feels right for you, or sounds right, or maybe just try it and see. Now for me, keto and low carb, high fat makes sense. If you think that arable farming has only been around for about 10,000 years, how did we survive for the millions of years before that? We would have eaten meat. But not just the lean meat that we have today. We would have eaten the whole animal. We would have had the fats. We would have had the organ meats. We would have eaten every single part of that animal. And some of the fat they would have kept and preserved and stored up for the winter months when they couldn't eat everything. There weren't that many fruits and veg around. Some berries on the trees. A few things that might have grown that they would have eaten, but not that much. So I go by how I feel. I feel amazing. Not all the time. There are times when I don't feel so great, but on the whole, I feel amazing. I feel like I've never felt before in my life, for as far back as I can remember, even as a child. I used to get migraines every other day. Now I get one every few months, and I can't remember the last time I had a migraine. Probably if we look through some of these old videos, I would have said I've had a migraine, but I can't remember the last time I had a migraine. I can move easily. My body feels lighter, even though I don't, I've weighed the weight I am now. I've weighed quite a long period of time in my life, but I just feel different on the inside. I don't get heartburn or indigestion that I used to get. I rarely feel that, no, I can't say, if I've stuck on plan, I don't feel that I've eaten too much, that I've overeaten and stuffed myself. And at the same time, I don't feel hungry. If I'm hungry, I eat. My skin doesn't feel as dry. There's so many different benefits that I've found from being on this way of eating that for me, this makes total sense. Now, maybe for you, that's not the same. And there are many doctors on the internet promoting keto and low carb, high fat. And if they thought it was bad, they wouldn't be talking about it. So I also told my friend to follow the money. Who gains by keeping us ill? Who gains by ensuring we eat high carb diets? Big Pharma doesn't care if you're sick. In fact, they like it. They want you to be sick enough to take a pill, but not too sick that you die. And the food industry wants you to keep eating all these high carb, highly processed foods. That's how they're making money. So always follow the money. And a lot of these doctors that are promoting keto and low carb, high fat, they might make some money by getting some extra customers. They might sell a product. They're not making loads of money. They're not making billions and billions. So follow the money. And also, when you don't feel great, don't feel amazing, you will follow the herd. You won't speak out. You won't be different. And the government likes that too. They like people that will follow everyone else. You're very compliant. If you don't feel well, you're not going to raise their house and go on about something or other. You're just going to be compliant and go, oh yes, yes sir, yes. So my friend, who's part of my Facebook group, she knows she's only tried low carb, high fat for a short period of time, but in that short period of time she's noticed the difference that she feels by eating this way. And in fact, while this friend was going through this operation, she wasn't keeping to it, and she's noticed the difference in that she doesn't feel so great now. So she knows that that for her is a great way forward. So we spoke about why doesn't she get her friend to carry on to try this way of eating and see how he feels. And he absolutely must have regular checkups at the doctor, because he's on a whole barrage of pills, and that need might change, and it might change quite quickly. So we've spoken about that as well. So that was a bit of a rant for the first thing in the video. But I think it's important to know, and I think it's important for you to question and not just believe what you've told. And if you go onto YouTube and type in, I typed in originally Dr. Aseem Malhotra, who's a British cardiologist, and you'll find things. But just typing in keto or low carb, high fat, you will find lots of doctors and nurses who are promoting this way of eating. And even the Diabetes Association is starting to see that low carb is the way forward for those with who are diabetics. So anyway, let's go and see what happened at my weigh-in today. Morning, about to step on the scales. Let's see what they say for this week. I think I've had a fairly flat week. It's been a bit up and down, but we'll have a look now. 13,580. So back in June last year, 2017, my starting weight was 231.8 pounds. Last Saturday I was 192 pounds. I don't know if you saw the video the week before. That had gone up by 4.2 pounds from the week before. And this Saturday I was 187.8 pounds. So back down the 4.2 pounds. So I've I put on 4.2 pounds and now I've lost it. So I'm back down to where I was 2 weeks ago. So that's a £16 loss since week 1 and an overall loss of £44. So this week I still haven't done any exercise because of my toe. I was thinking that maybe on Tuesday I would try a little bit of HIIT, just following a video and see how that felt for me. And then a bit earlier this morning I just knocked my shoe with the other foot, and the pain in my toe was incredible. It wasn't unbearable, but it was, wow, where did that come from? So now I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. I'm just going to play it by ear. I've still been doing my squat challenge though, because the weight in the back of the foot, I'm not putting any pressure on my toe, and it doesn't hurt whatsoever. So we started on day 1 with 25 squats. We increased by 5 a day, resting on the 4th day. So you do 3 days, 1 day off, 3 days, 1 day off. So today I'm up to, and I had to stop it in the middle because of my toe. So today I'm up to day 15 and I'm up to 75 squats, which I'm pleased about. So this week, what I'm planning on doing this coming week is to go back to measuring my food. As you saw, I put the weight on and then I've taken it back off, but it feels fairly flat. My weight feels very flat, and I just want to make sure that, I think when we don't measure, we can overeat on carbs and proteins. So I'm going to measure again this week. I've got the kids home from school, so I'm going to try and come up with some lunches that particularly one of my sons who's trying to eat low carb can have. So we might have a little bit more meat and some vegetables rather than bread. Well, I don't eat the bread, but they have been eating bread and salads as it gets to the winter, trying to find some different things to have to keep warm as well. So that's all for this week. If you want to see some of the videos that I've been posting in the Facebook group, just go over onto Facebook and search for Jackie on Keto. I need to get back to putting some posts on Instagram as well, because I've been a bit quiet this week. So I'll see you in one of those places. Look forward to next week. Bye for now.